Welcome to Nonprofit Profiles. I'm Genevieve Riutort. I'm especially excited about today's show because I have a very warm place in my heart for the Westside Shelter and Hunger Coalition. It's one of the oldest coalitions in the nation that addresses homeless issues, and it's a shining example of how multiple nonprofit agencies, faith organizations, and committed volunteers can make a profound difference in their community. I'm so glad to have a chance to highlight the wonderful work that the coalition is doing in our community. To get us started, we have a member of the coalition's board of directors, Allison Hurst. Thanks for being here, Allison.
My pleasure.
So, a full disclosure, we have to reveal that you are also the executive director of Safe Place for Youth, which is one of the agencies that is a member of the coalition. Can you talk a little bit about your involvement and your agency's involvement with the coalition?
So Safe Place for Youth provides services to homeless youth in the Venice area, and I've been with the coalition for around 3 years now. So I'm fairly new to it all, and Safe Place for Youth is only just under 3 years old as well. So so we're fairly new on all sides.
But it sounds like right from the start of your organization, you decided to join the coalition.
Absolutely. I remember early days somebody saying that there was this coalition over in Santa Monica and we should attend one of the meetings, and I remember going and not really understanding what anybody was talking about or any of the acronyms, and sitting there thinking, you know, I've just got to show up and listen to this, because clearly there's some sense to be had of this. But it was, you know, it was pretty bemusing at first, but slowly I started to put together who was from which agency and who I could go to for advice on certain subjects, and it's just been an awesome experience.
And do you find that your clients at Safe Place for Youth are also able to benefit from some of the other agencies that are part of the coalition?
Absolutely, absolutely. So because of the relationships I've built through the coalition, I've got a much deeper understanding of what the different agencies provide. So when we have a certain set of circumstances with a client, I can immediately think, oh, well, that's a good agency to refer to. Or even more importantly, an actual name and contact number of somebody at an agency to ring up and say, hey, we've got this situation going on. In fact, today that has happened. Somebody from another agency emailed me this morning and said, we've got this situation. What do you think? You're the expert with transitional aged youth. What do you think we can do about this? And it's been really a really great experience.
I know that from my own experience, having worked with the coalition, and I work for the Westside Food Bank, and we're a founding member of the coalition and have been involved in it for many, many years. I'm always so amazed by the connection and the cooperation, and really the fact that the coalition is providing a continuum of care, so that people can start off at one agency. Maybe they need, you know, a hot meal or a place to stay, and then they might transition to another agency. Maybe they need some recovery or some mental health services, and then they get referred to yet another agency so that they can get some transitional housing or maybe some job skills. And I just really am so inspired by the way that these agencies here on the West Side are working together. And it's not a sense of competition. It really seems like there's a sense of cooperation. How can we best serve the people that we're trying to serve in the community?
It's I absolutely agree with all of that, and more what I'll talk about is, you know, sitting on the board, surrounded by some really quite incredible people who have done this work for a long time, and the dedication and that they bring to this cause, they're just it's so inspiring to me, and I've learned so much from those folks that I sit around the table, and sometimes I'm like, what am I doing here? But they're incredible, and yes, the sense that the way that the agencies all work together and communicate and share experiences and knowledge, it's really inspiring. We do a really good job in SPA 5 on that. Really good job.
And I understand that one of your clients, you've had clients from SPY that have been honored at the annual Celebrating Success Breakfast. Can you talk a little bit about that?
I can. I tell you, it's one of my favorite events of the year. So for 2 years running, we've had a client who has been celebrated at the Success Breakfast. And for all involved, for the client, for me, for my volunteers and my staff who attend, it really is, apart from the fact that it starts so horribly early in the morning.
It does.
It really does. Is it 7 o'clock?
7:30, yeah.
Oh, whose idea that was, I'm not sure. But it's a really amazing event. And the client really truly gets to feel very special for the day. And I know for our client last year, he was blown away by the whole experience, and not only just by being honored himself, by being able to hear the inspirational stories. Last year the stories were particularly
I was there.
So much so that every single one of us forgot to take photographs. We were all a mess.
It's a three-hanky event.
It was spectacular, and we all look forward to it again this year.
Well, thank you so much. I think you're doing just fantastic work, and I really appreciate your coming on our show to represent the Westside Shelter and Hunger Coalition's board and letting us know about the really fantastic cooperation that's going on here in our community.
Thank you very much.
Coming up, we will get a taste of that signature event from the coalition, the Celebrating Success Breakfast. You won't want to miss this, so absolutely stay with us.
I thought I had everything under control. Then, one day, something happened. I didn't know how to stop it. I didn't know there was help. Until someone told me.
Providing access to justice, the Legal Aid Foundation of Los Angeles can help with domestic violence issues, eviction defense, government benefits, immigration, and other civil legal issues.
Welcome back to Nonprofit Profiles. One of the reasons I'm so jazzed about the Westside Shelter and Hunger Coalition is that for several years I had the honor of serving as the co-chair for one of its signature events, the annual Celebrating Success Breakfast. The breakfast honors clients nominated by the various agencies in the coalition who were formerly homeless and have rebuilt their lives. Most of the honorees made the transition with the support of multiple agencies that are part of the coalition's continuum of care. I'm proud to say that all along the way, those clients were sustained by food from the agency I work for, the Westside Food Bank, which provides food to most of the social service agencies with food assistance programs in Western LA County. If you've had the chance to attend a Celebrating Success Breakfast, you know how inspiring it is. If you haven't, we're about to give you a little taste of this wonderful community event with a video excerpt. Then we'll have a chance to talk to a former client who was honored at a past Success Breakfast event.
The beautiful Fairmont Miramar Hotel and Bungalows Santa Monica was the venue on this special morning with an award-winning on-air radio talent and producer as the 2013 MC.
Please join me in welcoming our MC, LaFern Cusack.
You may recognize LaFern's voice from radio shows on ESPN and Radio Disney.
Thank you so much, Felicia. It's a privilege to be MC of this year's event, Celebrating Success Breakfast.
Well, there are 30 different agencies that make up the Westside Shelter and Hunger Coalition. So it's pretty complicated. Donna Gentry, who is our consultant, makes it seem really easy. It is not half as easy as she makes it look.
Formerly homeless clients received awards for their accomplishments in overcoming challenges, becoming self-sufficient, and sustaining their success, such as Anthony Boyd, who was also the dynamic honoree speaker.
Woo, there's a lot of people. Oh, good Lord. Okay, how you doing? I got this, though. Okay, like I said, my name is Anthony Boyd, and my story started. There's a lot of emotions here.
Also recognized were supportive local businesses, civic and faith organizations in our community who have gone the extra mile, enthusiastically supporting these local programs, making a big impression on the coalition's new director.
I am impressed with how this breakfast is it's cherished. in this community, and that speaks really highly of how tight-knit this community is. So I'm very impressed.
Financial sponsors included St. John's Health Center in downtown Santa Monica, among many others. Proceeds from ticket sales and sponsorships help support the work of the coalition, helping those who have lost their way get back on their feet.
It took a lot of work, and Promises Foundation Miriam's House helped me, each step of the way to regain my life to a level that I never thought would have been possible 3 years back.
Felix, welcome back to Nonprofit Profiles.
Thank you, Genevieve. I appreciate to be here.
It's wonderful to have you back. And of course, today you're here to talk about the Westside Shelter and Hunger Coalition and what it was like to be honored at the Success Breakfast.
Well, it was a great experience to be honored and to feel honored.
Yes.
That was a special day for me, and I felt special for that day to recognize, where I was coming from. That transition from being out there homeless to engaging into services, and then, transition into housing, and, being recognized, to be housed through the agency. And the Westside Food Bank has been very instrumental in the journey.
Well, I'm really glad to hear that, and we're always happy to see your face around the food bank.
Thank you.
Can you tell us a little bit about your journey and how you came to be homeless, and what agencies you were able to get some assistance from?
Well, the journey was a long journey, and I appreciate everybody that was in the journey with me, traveling with me with this. I acquired services with different agencies, but one of the agencies that really shined the light on me, to come out of this situation was OPCC, Safe Haven OPCC. And I'm grateful for that, where they helped me with and empower me, with the different, life skills and so forth. And with that, we as members of Safe Haven, we becomes very, what you call, seeking resources and so forth. So one day, there was a gentleman that posted on YouTube something in that area about gardening. He donated his property for gardening, so we really jumped on that. And that's 5 years ago, and up to today, we are still gardening there, which today I facilitate that garden for my peers.
That's great.
For
and
wellness.
so does that food go to OPCC?
Well, it's interesting because when we harvest, I get to enjoy cooking it for my peers.
Nice.
At the kitchen. Of course, I do cooking in Safe Haven from time to time. And we enjoy harvesting, and we enjoy eating the food that we planted and harvest.
Sure. It's such a life-affirming thing to see something grow and then to be able to enjoy it and know that you're healthfully sustaining yourself.
Yes, very organically.
Yeah. One of the things that I really love about the Success Breakfast is that it's a really special event. I mean, it's held at a beautiful hotel, and everything is decorated beautifully. There are flowers. I know that all of the honorees wear a flower on their lapel, and we get to hear some of the stories that people talk about their journeys and what they've been through. Can you tell us a little bit about what it felt like to not only be in such a beautiful environment, but to be the guest of honor?
Yes, it's sharing the story, sharing the journey, and looking at the different agencies that provide services for homeless people like myself, and to empower them to move forward. It was a special day, and I had a lot of fun with peers and with service providers and so forth. And I enjoyed it. It was a special event for me.
And do you keep in touch with any of the other people who have been honored or been
Yes,
part of that program?
Yes, actually, last year I was nominated to be a speaker, you know, in the follow-up, and I had a peer there that was kind of shy, and it said, you know, go for it. You know, today's your day. And she felt pumped up, and you know, she was out there, and you know, she felt lose that because now she's hearing it from a former, you know, nominee.
If you could do it, then she could do it.
Exactly.
Well, that's wonderful. Thank you so much for coming on our
My
show
pleasure.
again and telling us about your journey and how the agencies that are part of the Westside Shelter and Hunger Coalition have helped to bring you into a better place in your life.
Thank you very much.
It's
Genevieve.
wonderful to see you thrive.
Yes, thank you for having me.
My pleasure.
Okay.
To find out about how you can attend the Celebrating Success Breakfast, please call 310-314-0071 or visit westsideshelter.org. Please stay with us to hear more about the mission and history of the Westside Shelter and Hunger Coalition.
Discover 30 years of opera in Santa Monica. Discover the Verdi Chorus.
Welcome back. To finish up our profile of the Westside Shelter and Hunger Coalition and give us more information about how to be a part of creating change in our community is Darcy Niva, the director of the coalition. Welcome, Darcy.
Thank you so much for having me.
So I know in our earlier segments we talked about the Success Breakfast, which is a fantastic event. But there's another event that the Westside Shelter and Hunger Coalition puts on every year, and that's the Super Bowl-a-thon. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yes, and that is such a hoot. That event is so much fun. It is our fundraiser for the year for the coalition, and so it brings together not only the agencies that are our member agencies, but it brings businesses, community members, the fire department, the police department. I mean, we just have so much fun and such great participation from this community.
Well, that's great. I hope some of our viewers will maybe be inspired to have their business or group form a bowl-a-thon bowling team.
We would absolutely love that.
But yeah, it really is a fun event. And it raises money for the really important work that the coalition does.
Yeah. It does, and we're so grateful for all of the sponsorships and the teams that come, and it's such a fun event to, you know, do something that's worthwhile and have that much fun with it. It's good.
And there's great raffle prizes too.
Yes, yes, always the best.
So tell us about the mission and maybe a little bit about the history of the coalition.
The Westside Shelter and Hunger Coalition began in 1982, and it is this county's oldest coalition that deals with homelessness, and it is one of the oldest in the nation that deals with homelessness issues. And we have over 30 agencies, faith-based organizations, governmental agencies, social service agencies that are members. And they're all dealing with different aspects of homelessness, health, hunger, you know, human services. And the thing that's amazing to me about the coalition is how well the members work together. You know, I think that when a homeless person is able to overcome their homelessness, it doesn't just happen with one agency. It is a joint effort for sure.
Yeah, and I know from being at the breakfast and hearing the stories of some of the clients, you know, they will say, we started at, you know, with Claire, and then we got housing, and then we worked with Chrysalis, and we got, you know, employment, and, you know, we were getting food from the Westside Food Bank, and it really is a continuum of care that clients are able to take advantage of.
It is, and the agencies work so well together.
It's really nice to see that level of cooperation instead of competition.
Right.
Because it can be tough. We're all looking for donors and dollars and trying to make our programs work. But it's nice to see how when we come together we can really make a bigger difference.
And I think that at the core we realize that we are better together. But competing for the same scarce funds, and that's the the hardest thing. But I'm not exactly sure how the West Side has figured out a way past that, but this is an amazing organization and they really do work well together and they're very successful at what they do.
And so the members of the coalition are, for one, nonprofit agencies, and then I know that there are also faith-based organizations and sometimes city and county governments, is that right?
Yes. Yeah.
But there are also ways for individuals to get involved. Can you talk a little bit about how, one of our viewers or any interested person in the community could participate?
Absolutely. We have a monthly coalition meeting, and that meeting is to bring up topics of concern, topics that all of us face when dealing with hunger and homelessness, health issues, poverty. And so we have that meeting at 9 o'clock on the third Thursday of every month. You don't have to be a member to attend those meetings. They're very, very informative, training, education, really, really good topics. And so that is at Upward Bound House in Santa Monica. We would love to have people come to those meetings. We also have committees. You can look at our website, and there are also volunteer opportunities. Many of the agencies, they need volunteers and internships, and so we're trying to streamline getting volunteers to the right location, and then donations. We try to get donations out to whichever agency could use them the most.
And it's just so wonderful to see how well everybody works together. And I've been to those coalition meetings, and it really is a place to get information about the big picture. So here's what's happening with LA County, here's what's happening with the city, here's what's happening with the homeless count, which I know is a big effort that the coalition gets really involved in.
Yeah.
Can you talk a little bit about that?
This was, I'm from out of state, and so I'm in my 7th month here, so new to the area. So I was excited to participate with the Santa Monica homeless count. And I got my husband and my 2 sons to be on my team.
Wow.
So we made it a NIVA fun night. But it was so impressive that there were, I believe there were 250 volunteers. It was run so smoothly. And the team sent out, it's a point in time, which is the middle of the night, that point in time, in order to try to count the best that we can to get adequate and realistic results. And this year, Santa Monica's results said that there are less people on the streets this year than there were last year. It was a 5% decrease, which is just, I think, an incredible hats off to the agencies that are working towards that end.
Sure, it's a testament to the great work that's happening.
Yes.
And I know that you mentioned the coordinated entry system. Can you tell us what that is and how it's helping?
Yeah, absolutely. Anybody that's worked with homelessness issues has known for a very long time that we have to coordinate services, that one agency may have more access to housing than a smaller agency would. And we've realized that, especially when we have the memorial service every year, that there are those that are dying on the streets, and that we have to do something to prevent that. So what coordinated entry is, it is a way that there's a universal assessment tool so that the homeless on the street can be assessed to find out what is their level of vulnerability. And then that's put into a database along with the available vouchers and housing units that are out there, and the most vulnerable are prioritized for housing.
And that database is accessible by multiple agencies.
Yes, yeah. And that, that's something that has been needed for a long time, and those that have worked with homelessness issues have known that that's coming. It is truly the future for our agencies. But SPA 5 was ahead of the curve for that, and that's our service planning area, which is our region. SPA 5 is the Santa Monica, Venice, Culver City is our west side.
Right.
And they were ahead of the game because they recognized that, had the vision and the foresight.
You guys were already coordinating. You were already working together.
Right. And they had assessed clients and put them into a database and prioritized. So
well, it's just wonderful work that you're doing. Thank you so much for representing the Westside Shelter and Hunger Coalition, and we're so proud of the fact that our Westside agencies are working together so beautifully.
Thank you so much for having me.
To find out more about the Westside Shelter and Hunger Coalition, visit westsideshelter.org or call 310-314-0071. I hope you'll take the time to attend one of their meetings, participate in the Bowl-a-thon, which happens every February, or attend the Celebrating Success Breakfast in the fall. Thanks for being with us for this edition of Nonprofit Profiles.